What's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for being with me. I have so much to show you about what's happening in the church and even outside of the church. And what does it mean for the future for Christianity? Let's talk about it.
Or where they went. They caught 78 known terrorists within the beginning of this year alone.
And good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for being with me. If you haven't already, please share this video. No matter how you are watching this, share this video. I have very, very important information that I want to share with you. Highly important information. I think this information the information that I want to show to you tonight proves what I said was coming, what I see coming. And again, like I always say in the past, that I never say to have a crystal ball, prophet. I just be straight up with everybody. I see the writing on the wall, and it's happening right now to us. And I'm not saying this to get everyone scared. Not at all. Not at all. I'm only saying this because I want you to be aware. We need to be aware of the things that's happening in our lives. So before I get to the main story tonight about how Christianity is changing, because it is changing. You can say that it's not going to. You can say that it's never going to happen. It's happening while you're saying it's not going to. And I'm going to show you a little bit of that tonight because it's growing. This movement is growing. But before we get to that, I want to show you a few things what they're talking about Joe Biden when it comes to the liberal media. And I've said this before. I think the honeymoon, the whole love relationship that the liberal media had with Joe Biden, maybe is starting to somewhat go away just a little bit, not completely. And the reason why it's not going away completely, because the liberal media, they're still leftists, communists. They still support everything that is evil. So it's just going a little bit. Their love story, when I'm talking about, or the love relationship with Joe Biden in the media, is that they're starting to disconnect themselves from Joe Biden because Joe Biden ultimately is going to hurt their agenda because he can't push their agenda the way they want it to be pushed. Look at this first clip that I have for you. And this is how they actually feel about Joe Biden across the board when it comes to the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party, they're taking these polls, and this is on MSSTD. This is on MSSTD. Listen to Joe Biden. Joe Biden is what, just a quarter? And they're probably even fudging this numbers. It's probably less than a quarter. These people want Joe Biden gone.
Check this out. We asked folks in this poll, do you think Joe Biden should run for re-election? Look at this. Only a quarter, 26%, said they think he should run for re-election. Age, a big concern. He'd be 82 upon being sworn in for a second term.
So they're going to, you see, they're talking about age. They're talking about age. They don't care. They'll have someone brain dead sitting in the chair as long as they're getting what they want. They could care less. Y'all have heard about dead people doing stuff after they die, right? When it comes to, every 2 to 4 years. They don't care. You mean to tell me that they okay with dead people doing certain things, but they're not okay with Joe Biden being halfway there, sitting in the chair? Come on. Let's be realistic here. Here's another one with Joe Biden. And this was on This Week. Is that ABC? I think that's ABC this week. I don't ever watch them enough to know, but I'm pretty sure it's ABC. But listen to what they say about Joe Biden. The love affair is over with people. And people now, for the liberal media to actually start recognizing what's happening in the country and what's happening when it comes to Joe Biden, I think Joe Biden is in trouble, if you ask me.
The Wall Street Journal editorial board had a very strong statement about it, saying the public understands what Mr. Biden apparently won't admit, that electing an octogenarian in obvious decline for another 4 years could be an historic mistake. It's impossible to know Mr. Biden's real physical and mental state because the White House goes to great lengths to hide it, but his decline is clear to anyone who isn't willfully blind.
for anyone for anyone who's not willfully blind, they see that Joe Biden, and it's no secret. There's no secret that they see the problem with Joe Biden. They saw this problem years ago. Years and years and years ago, they saw Joe Biden was declining. There's no secret. We talked about it. I shared it. I talked about it multiple times. I'm willing to bet every single person right now watching, even the trolls, have talked about Joe Biden and his gaffes, or him saying, doing stupid stuff. We've all heard it, right? We've all heard Joe Biden say the stupid stuff over and over and over again, and it's nothing new. It's just the fact that now you have the liberal media actually coming out and said that they're acknowledging Joe Biden saying this stupid stuff. That's the interesting thing. Now, Joe Biden, when it comes to the United States of America, he was put there to destroy our country. That's the only reason why he was put there. President Trump was in office. President Trump had a positive outcome for America. America was prospering. More people were working, breaking record history. And President Trump didn't have a shutdown. President Trump didn't have a demic. You understand what I'm saying? He didn't have any of that. These job numbers were coming in under President Trump because of the policies that he was putting in place. The gas was low. Food wasn't going through the roof. The stock market was breaking record because of his policies. He didn't have to have anything happen for them to take advantage of like they are now and then turn around and try to say, look what we did. They didn't do anything. It's just people started going back to work. But even with people going back to work, there's major layoffs that are happening right now. Disney, of all places, 7,200, 7,500 layoffs are getting ready to come to Disney. And ESPN is one of them. I didn't even realize that ESPN was part of Disney, but apparently it is. So everyone out there that's watching ESPN, the sports, saying that you're not going to support Disney, or you're supporting Disney when you're watching ESPN. So you might want to stop saying that you're not going to support them when you're watching ESPN. I'm just saying, I'm putting it out there. I'm just saying, I like watching sports too. And there shouldn't be anything wrong with watching sports unless they go woke. But then it becomes a major problem. But anyways, when it comes to our economy, right? Joe Biden and the Democrats, they don't care. They want to destroy the country, like I've said multiple times. And sometimes McCarthy, I'm still saying that sometimes he's for Republicans. Most times he's for his Democrats. Well, here lately, he's been trying to do the opposite. Listen to what he says here on Fox News. And I'm only sharing this because of Fox News. OK, we already know what happened with Tucker. I did a video earlier about it. Everyone knows about Tucker, but I'm only sharing this because it's what McCarthy's saying here on Fox News. So listen to what he says about Joe Biden not coming to the table to discuss the deficit. If anything, the Democrats, Joe Biden, and all of them are going to let the country default. And then they're all going to come out and say, this is the fault of McCarthy, the Republicans, the MAGA Republicans. They're going to say it's their fault. Hear me now. Believe me later on.
Why won't the president sit down? What is he afraid of? All the time before people have. He's treating this just like he treats the border. He wants to ignore the problem and hopes it goes away. But it will not go away. Every day we're putting America at risk. This president has the opportunity here to solve this problem. Otherwise, he's going to bumble into the first default in our nation's history.
Yeah, exactly. But you know what? I've said it so many times in the past. We've seen how Joe Biden handled the border. McCarthy's right. Look how he handled the border. We saw that. He ignored it. And pretty much for the most part, he's still ignoring it. Right? He went down there one time to show face because Mayorkas went down there. Mayorkas should be put in jail. Right? He really should be. But he went down there one time to show face just to say, oh, I've been to the border. So they can't say that anymore. That Joe Biden has never been to the border. His entire political criminal career, he has never been to the border. But now you can say that he's been to the border because he's been there one time. So now no one can say that he hasn't been there any longer. So the fake fact checkers can come out and say, that's not true. Joe Biden did go to the border. He didn't fix anything. But he did go to the border. That's all they care about. So now you can't even say it any longer. So now we have this story, what I want to share with you. Did you know if you have a good credit score that you go to purchase a home, that they're going to charge you more? Everyone has heard about this story by now. For those of you that have not heard about this story, and you just heard me correctly, if you worked hard, if you did everything you could to keep your credit score good, you paid your bills, you paid off your credit cards, you did what you were supposed to do. You paid off that student loan. Now that you did all the right things, they're going to penalize you if you want to purchase a home. You are going to pay more because you did the right thing. And they're forcing you to pay more because of all the lazy people, all the people that did not take the responsibility to pay their bills, like these leftists right now. Let the government pay my student loan. This is socialism 101, people. 101.
If you are looking to buy a home, mortgage fees could be changing as soon as next month. Chief Business Correspondent Christine Romans is with us now.
Good morning.
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 Why?
So, look, this is all an effort to narrow that homeownership gap in America. We have a very difficult gap between low income and higher income families. There's a racial homeownership gap, and low income and first time home buyers. These federal rules, these rules are meant to make it a little bit easier for them to buy a home. So
they're going to make it easier. And it's all about color again, right? She brought it up. It's all about color. So they're going to make it easier for people to purchase homes that did not do the right thing in the past. And that has nothing to do with color. White people, brown people, black people, they all make mistakes throughout life. We all make mistakes, right? We all make them. But they're going to, is this, now let me think about this, because she just sit there and said and brought color into this. Is this because white people supposedly can purchase more? So are they going to penalize white people more so than black people? Because I don't know per se that anybody black is going to go, that has a good credit score and go talk to someone white that has a good credit score. And they're going to say, hey, well, we both just purchased homes at the same time. What did they charge you? Because we have the same credit score. I don't think anybody's actually going to do that. So how would we know that they're not going to do this to purposely target white people? It's a valid question. How do we know that they're not going to do that is my question.
These mortgage fees are changing May 1st. This is called the loan level price adjustment matrix. It's mind numbing. Basically, there's upfront fees for loans backed by Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. They will change. They relate to credit scores and down payment amounts. And in some cases, and this is getting a lot of attention online, a higher credit score borrowers may pay a little bit more in these upfront fees. Lower credit score borrowers will pay a little bit less. Now,
you hear this? So lower credit score borrowers will pay a little bit less. And typically in the past, hey, if you have a bad credit score because you become a high risk, it doesn't matter if you're purchasing a home, a house, or a car. If you need to take out a bank loan, whatever it is, because you have a low credit score, you typically have to pay more because you have not demonstrated that you can pay your bills on time. But people that pay their bills on time, pay credit cards off, pay student loans off, they're getting penalized because they did the right thing.
Overall, it does not make sense to try to have a lower credit score. That's not, you're going to pay more if you have a lower credit score. This is trying to narrow that gap between the higher credit score borrowers and lower credit score borrowers.
How is this not socialism? How is this not socialism 101? So we're going to take from everyone who did the right thing and give to those that did not do the right thing. This is how you collapse a country. This is how you collapse a nation. By taking from everybody who did the right thing. Is this ticking you off? Because look, I have bills and I have worked hard. And now they're going to make it more difficult for people who've been doing the right thing. I have gone without so I could pay my bills multiple times. So now they're going to penalize people.
There's a lot of criticism of that because people say they feel like they're being punished if they have a higher credit score for this.
And that's what you're hearing a lot of people talk about online. You're even hearing people say, look, I'm not going to pay my bills so that I'll get a lower credit score. And so then I'll pay a lower. That's just really bad. Overall.
You hear this? She goes, okay, you can get him off the screen. That's enough. She's talking about that's just really bad, really bad. That's exactly what's going to end up happening. People are going to realize they're going to be like, well, wait a minute. I don't pay my bills. I get a lower credit score. And they're going to make my payments lower. I'll get a loan and I won't have to pay as much because I have a low credit score. It's a no-brainer. People do it all the time. Why do you think they took advantage of the whole student loan shenanigans? Because the government was going to pay off something that they promised, that they did a contract to pay off themselves. But the government stepping in saying, we'll pay it off. That is straight up socialism. I don't care what anybody says. You cannot convince me otherwise because that's exactly what it is. And you know what this made me think about? It makes me think about when I was living in California, and I've told this story before, riding on the train. This dude was there complaining and upset because rich people were not paying their fair share. And he was saying that rich people should have to give up their money. And I said, why would they have to do that? They worked day in and day out, bled and sweat, nearly died in some cases, so they could be successful. And you're meaning to tell me you're going to penalize them because they were successful? I said, we're in Silicon Valley. What happens when you start a business and you become really successful and then they come and want to tax you for what you've done? No, you don't penalize people for doing the right thing. It's going to create a society of people that don't want to do anything. That is a problem. Why am I the only one seeing all of this? I know that I'm not. But it's happening. And they're doing this on purpose. Let me share something else with you that they are doing on purpose. You know, they have this whole scare about trying to get people terrified of just guns, period. And they want to disarm law-abiding citizens so they will feel safe. Think about what I just said. They want to disarm law-abiding citizens so they will feel safe. But that's not how it works. They never talk about disarming the criminal because they're okay with the criminal having guns because it's always the criminal doing the crime. And they never address the criminals. How come they haven't released the transcript from Nashville? Someone please tell me right now. Leave me a comment. Tell me why you think they have not released the transcript from Nashville. Why do you think that is? Well, look at this from CNN. And this is them this is a result of the liberal media. What you're about to see was at what they call an AAU basketball game. And what happens is there's a whole bunch of youth basketball players, and they have multiple teams playing in a facility. All these games going on at the same time. Sometimes if the facility is really big, it can be up to 15 games going on at the same time. Sometimes these events can be really huge, I tell you. But this was a fake episode that took place, and look how everybody reacted. And this is exactly the fear that the left has been putting in everybody. And in this case, it never even happened, but they have people so scared, so terrified, they run around like chickens with their heads cut off.
Panic broke out at a basketball game in Texas on Sunday after someone said they heard gunfire. It thankfully turned out to be a false alarm, but here's the chaos that ensued.
So look at this. People running around this court. And look, they're all crawling down on the ground.
A shooter, active shooter.
You hear this?
Go to the back door.
Go.
They're saying it's an active shooter.
Get out.
Come on, get up.
There is no shooter.
Come on. Go this way.
There is no shooter. There is no shooter. Stop it there. Stop it there.
We get all of our people out.
The incident happened after
on
a parent and an opposing coach were asked to leave the game. One grabbed a gun out of their car in the parking lot. Police have since determined that no shots were fired and no one was injured. What sounds like a gunshot in the video is actually a man tripping over a table trying to escape. And this matter is still under investigation.
Okay, and so they said that someone had a gun outside, but someone tripped over a table inside, and then someone just automatically screamed out, active shooter, gun, 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 and it wasn't one. And automatically everybody starts running because no one knows at that point. Isn't that kind of like going into a movie theater and screaming fire? Would you consider that to be the same thing? What about you, Shannon? Do you think that would be considered to be the same thing? Someone running into a venue like that and screaming gun, gun. Is that not the same as going into a movie theater and screaming fire?
I mean, wow. I didn't even think about that point. That's a really good point.
Right? I mean, at least that's my thinking about that.
Yeah. I mean, and who knows what then? I mean, I thought the same thing. How could there be a gun outside?
And then
but a person inside, they said, panicked.
Yeah.
Tripped over a table. And then that person, or I don't know who did, said active shooter. I don't know.
They said someone said active shooter. And I'm like, okay, so if it's active shooter, then why would someone scream that because someone tripped over a table? Because they found out at some point that someone tripped over a table. They found out. But again, the reason why people are terrified is because of the liberal media, because of the Democrats. They want everybody to be scared. And if you're scared, Nazi Germany, I didn't watch all of it, but I watched some of the Nuremberg trials, and they were asking the Nazis, how did you get so many people to go along with what you were doing? He said, fear. All we had to do is have them scared of Jewish people. We used fear. And fear, we were able to control them easily. Same thing is happening again today. The left, they're trying to instill fear into everybody, and people are just falling for it. People are just falling for it. Okay.
I mean, but that's what they want, Will. They want control.
Yeah. Yeah. That's exactly what they want. They want total control. Okay. Let me get to the main thing of tonight's broadcast. And I've talked about it so much before, so much in the past. You know, the left right now, they're wanting to change what it is to be a Christian. How many times have y'all heard me say that? I mean, countless times, right? Countless times. Well, they're actually wanting to change it. And the left here in America want to change it because of China. Right? China, they're going after Christians. And they're not, of course, they don't need to hide it. Not like the Democrats are trying to hide it here. The Democrats have an agenda to get rid of Christianity. And I've said it so many times before. That's the reason why they said that, you know, white people are the problem in the country, because the majority of the people in this country that are Christians happen to be white. Now, I'm not saying that a lot of black people don't call themselves Christians. And the reason why they don't come out and say that they want to just deliberately target Christianity, not like they're doing in China, because a lot of black people call themselves Christians. So if they start saying, well, wait a minute, I'm a Christian, but there's some black people, some white people are going to deny Christ. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. But they don't come out blatantly saying it because they have too many people in the country that are Christians. That's the reason why they don't come out and say it. Well, in China, they're locking people up. Look at this clip here. And this is out of China. And again, I apologize for those of you that I'm with you, but it's just Fox News. But I want y'all to look at this for the content. Look at this. This is happening in China right now. And the Democrats, I'm willing to bet they love every bit of this.
Check out this video from a Christian church service in China. It shows worshipers being raided by Chinese Communist Party police as part of the government's crackdown on Christianity. One Chinese pastor who fled to America is now warning that scenes like this are strikingly similar to the way the left censors speech here in the U.S. Bob Fu is that pastor and the president of China Aid, a watchdog group that tracks the religious persecution in China, and joins me now. Bob, thank you so much for getting up with with us and being here to talk with us about this morning. But you have a very stark warning for America. What is it?
Thank you, Ashley, for having me. Because I was born, raised, educated in communist China, I just observed striking similarities during this COVID dictatorship time between China, of course, even the United States of America. I find we are really, in America, descending into a very dark kind of reality that somehow those mayors and governors all of a sudden became little emperors, and also the media has become an ideological tool to do propaganda with.
100%. They become a tool for the propaganda machine, just like the 1940s in Germany. Propaganda. The media has become a propaganda machine for these people. That's why they're okay with it. And they're excited about Tucker, right? They're excited about Tucker. But they're pushing the propaganda. And he's right. These governors throughout the country, these leftist governors, they're acting like, he called them emperors, right? Straight up dictators, wanting to control the masses, disregarded our U.S. Constitution. Oh, we can disregard it right now because we have the authority and no one's going to stop us. The same thing that's happening here. They're coming for you as a Christian, and it's going to be that your faith is going to be tested. See, I've already put it out here publicly that I am a Christian and I'm going to die a Christian. I've already put it out there, so they know that I'm already a problem. Why do you think that they censor so much, especially Will Johnson? There's some people right now that have millions and millions of followers that don't even talk about God. Or they do just in soft ways, just a little bit here, a little bit there. But they don't ever come out and they tell people that we're living in demonic times and these evil people are not going to stop. This is a deliberate attack on Christianity in the country. And their attacks on Christianity is happening more ways than one.
The one side of the extreme leftist agenda, that's very worrisome to me. And we cannot really make our exceptionalist constitutional democracy into this communist style of governance. That's worried me to the most. We have seen, of course, the persecuted church in China, as you just shown, every day. Many of my friends, are arrested and serving 5 years, 7 years, 9 years imprisonment for simply preaching the gospel. Wow. And organize a peaceful worship service every Sunday. So now, all of a sudden, we could not tolerate the worship. If you are in defiance of a little emperor, mayor, or governor's ordinance, and who would order you how and when, where to worship. So this is certainly the most worrisome thing. I feel that America is, unfortunately, including Canada and other European countries, are coming to this point of active discrimination and perhaps persecution on the door.
You hear this? And perhaps persecution. If you believe what God's word says, it is coming. Persecution for Christians is coming. It's already here across the planet. But I'm talking about here in the United States of America, and it's already starting to happen here in America. And you know how they're going to do it here in America? They've already got the movement going full steam ahead. Do you know how they're going to do it? Do you? I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you right now. I'm going to show you right now. Let's do split screen on this next one here. We're at that time right here. You need to join me on Rumble. Join me on Rumble. Let's make it full screen. I've actually changed it up a little bit here to show you. Join me on Rumble right now. You can see it. It's rumble.com/Will Johnson/live, or you can go to uaf.media like you see there at the bottom, and just go down and click on Let's Talk About It with Will Johnson on Rumble. Click on the Rumble one. You'll see it. Biggest day. My producer actually changed the page up so it's more, makes a little bit more sense to everybody. It almost looks like a online app type deal. I mean, it's really nice. It's really slick. Go look at it. uaf.media. Just click on Rumble. Or if you want to, rumble.com/Will Johnson/live. And it'll bring you directly live to this video right now. All right, so give me 1 second. We're going to go live in about 30 seconds. All right, hold on. Before we do, let me make sure we didn't have any super chats or if we had any stars before we go. Let's go back to split screen for me. So did we have any? Okay, awesome. So I'm looking at my picture there and I'm like, I look darker here than I do there. That's funny. Someone's going, he's trying to be white. That's what I'm telling you, that's what someone's going to probably see. I didn't even think about it. Look at that. But go ahead. I'm sorry. Let's make it full screen and say him again for me. Your mic is not on. Okay, go ahead.
Oh my God. Okay.
It's the fourth time.
Right. So Cindy, Sharon, Debbie, Ann, and Mike. Those are superstars or Facebook stars. And let me see. And that's it.
All right, cool. All right, everybody, join us over on Rumble. We're going over to Rumble right now. We're going to end it here on Facebook and we're going to end it on YouTube.